With the start of a new decade, we just can't help but look back on all the great games that have already passed. Thankfully, some of them are coming back. Here are 15 upcoming remakes and remasters for 2020. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Just when you thought Pokemon couldn't get any cuter, Nintendo presents us with a revival of Chunsoft and the Pokemon Company's 2006 roguelike title. Free from the limits of the Game Boy Advance and the DS, Rescue Team DX takes on a brand new art style to retell the story of our Pokemon adventurers. The world feels almost like a storybook brought to life. It dazzles with its vibrant colors and cute animations. Even though it's so much different from the original, it still manages to feel right for the title. It will retain the classic 16 starter Pokemon, but will feature new mechanics like Mega Evolution and Auto Mode. It's set to release on the Switch this March 6th. Langrisser 1 and 2. NIS America's revival of the legendary Langrisser 1 and 2 is taking us to their magical kingdom once again, now in high definition. Featuring 2 games in one, experience each Langrisser title with an improved presentation. As a remake, the story will remain mostly unchanged. In these 2 titles, you will once again take up the sword against the forces of chaos. The art style changes might be an acquired taste. Fans of the classic title still might enjoy this revitalized version, especially with its reorchestrated music and its helpful quality of life improvements. It's coming to the PC, PS4, and Switch on March 10th. Doom 64. Announced by Pete Hines from Bethesda Softworks, Doom 64 is all about bringing one classic Nintendo title to the new generation. And it comes in time to celebrate the franchise's 25th anniversary. It's not exactly packed with the usual bells and whistles. It's basically the original's vanilla version with 30 action-packed levels, which veterans will be happy to relive. If you're playing on the Switch, it's also gonna be a chance to experience it on the go. But even on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, it's gonna be a treat to see the game we always loved still going strong. It's set to release on March 20, 2020.
Hey, easy lady, I got you.
Who are you? What are you doing?
Name's Carlos, and I'm Sadie.
Resident Evil 3. How better to celebrate the massive success of Resident Evil 2 than with a brand new remake of an equally loved title? Capcom has been hitting the marks, and there's hardly any doubt that they'll give this third entry to their series the same care and attention. They're about to kick the scares into high gear as we follow Jill's frantic escape from a mob of the infected.
The town's crawling with those freaks. No chance of fighting our way out of the city.
According to the developers, this is going to be a more action-oriented title, which means that the theme of running away is going to follow us all throughout.
It's me he's after. I'll buy you some time.
Hey, wait! Wait, Jill!
While Capcom has stated that they took some liberties with the plot arrangement and Carlos's personality, the good news is that they're doing their best to make fan-favorite Jill the same character we used to love. It's set to release on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One on the 3rd of April 2020.
Get down here, Merc.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. A list of remakes won't be complete without the most hotly awaited title this year. With the help of today's tech, Square Enix is letting us see what our beloved Final Fantasy gem would look like in the modern era.
What was his name again?
Cloud Strife.
Gone are the polygons and the text dialogues, and replacing it is today's full realism, complete with voiceovers and updated active time battle systems. As you probably know, it's gonna be an episodic game, with the first episode covering the events at Midgar. Its latest trailers show off Cloud's daring rescue at the Honeybee Inn,
Perfection.
and an appearance from Red 13.
A fascinating question.
Oh, did it just talk?
This PS4 exclusive has been delayed from its original March release, but the hype will follow it till its new release date on April 10th.
A touching reunion.
Trials of Mana. Fans of the Seiken Densetsu series, especially those in the West, have more reason to rejoice. This isn't just a remake. It's a remake of the one game in the series that just never made it to Western shores, making its debut on the PC, PS4, and Switch the game's first official English arrival. It will be fully rebuilt into 3D and will come with a handful of improvements, especially to its once tedious battle system.
Yeah, and some of them are better at magical abilities than others, so you can switch to them to maybe heal your party or do other sorts of things.
Yeah.
The story is unchanged, but experiencing it again, or for the first time with enhanced sound, visuals, and combat, could make it all worthwhile for new and old fans alike. It's coming on April 24th, 2020.
Request assistance, over. Repeat, request assistance, over.
Metal Max Xeno, Reborn. The Metal Max series is also in for a massive reboot, with so many different projects going for it so far, namely a completely new title set in the West and Code Zero, which goes back to the series' Famicom days. We're here to talk about the ground-up remake of the original Metal Max Xeno, released just last 2018. That doesn't really sound like much, but it comes with a whole new engine change, as well as some improvements to their game systems. For a game that was enjoyable but a little on the average, these enhancements may just make it a better experience overall. Plus, it means we'll get to spend more time with the cutest battle dog ever. It's set to release on July 9th on the PS4 and Switch. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition. After the decade spent making one of the biggest Final Fantasy games in recent history, Square Enix is free to take a little creative break, bringing instead their much-loved spin-off into the modern generation. Crystal Chronicles delivered an accessible new multiplayer flavor to the series. While it was a little heavy for the devices back in the days, it'll definitely fit well with the swaths of multiplayer options today. This remastered version will have an online multiplayer mode for up to 4 players, letting friends drop in and out of games. That plus new character skins, revamped narration, and remastered music will make this classic a fresh experience for old and new fans alike. It's coming to the Switch and PS4 this summer. Destroy All Humans. The revival of the cult classic adventure game brings us back to the simple days of the 1950s, where all people had to worry about was a bored alien terrorizing the streets. Destroy All Humans puts our humanity on the backseat and lets us experience the thrills of alien technology. The game was an underground hit for all its satirical humor, particularly genocide and the Cold War. With this remake, it's gonna hit the shelves not just with a brand new makeover, but also with a polishing of its old mechanics and features. Hopefully that means better shooting and simultaneous actions that'll bring it up to this gen standards. It's coming to the PC, PS4, and Xbox One this second quarter. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Flight Simulator was the throwaway reveal in Microsoft's E3 presentation, but it was anything but forgettable. A game that had its beginnings in the 70s, Flight Simulator makes a landing in the new generation with a hangar full of new features and improvements. Realism has always been at the heart of this title, and for this 2020 version, they're cranking the environments, scale, and physics to 11, with 4K support to boot. There's been a leak recently which apparently showed off the technical beauty of the game. But for those who didn't catch it, you'll have to wait for it to come out on the PC and Xbox One sometime this year.
Right now, you hear me? Don't worry, I'm on top of it.
Kingpin Reloaded. You can be forgiven for not knowing this game, but for many, this was one of the high points of their late 90s. With only a reveal trailer to work with, we don't really know much about this game yet. However, they did provide us with what's in store for the old title, namely ultra-wide and 4K support, rebalances, new quest systems, and mode toggles. Known for its ultra-violence, we can't wait to see all its gory details on the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch sometime this year. Panzer Dragoon Remake. 2 decades after it first stole our hearts, Megapixel Studio is making rail shooters cool again with this return of the Sega Saturn's beloved Panzer Dragoon. Their trailer shows off just how beautiful the old world looks like in full HD, backed of course by its memorable soundtrack. Other than the facelift, it promises to be true to the original with only some changes to controls to let it fit into modern day standards. Returning you to your childhood world of dragons, wasps, and sandworms, it's set to release on the PC and Switch sometime in 2020. System Shock. It might have had its stint in development hell, but this remake from Night Dive Studios has undoubtedly pulled through, very unlike the recently shelved sequel, System Shock 3. But we're focusing on the positives here, and the good news is that this renewed title has found its direction and it's looking pretty slick. Instead of too many big changes, the developers have chosen to keep faithful to the original game, polishing up the rough edges that come with age while highlighting all of its strengths. For a game that's always been groundbreaking, this remake might finally give it the spotlight and profit that it deserves. Return to the hostile halls of this cyberpunk vision as it releases on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One this year. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom-Rehydrated. Another cult classic game, but this time for a more well-known franchise. A part of many of our childhoods, SpongeBob has been remaking himself in more ways than one. From brand new episodes and prequel shows to this full remake of their 2003 title. As remakes go, this rehydrated version will come with a complete makeover that'll smoothen Bikini Bottom's rough edges into the curves it always deserved. Plus, it's also going to have deleted content from the original game, and a spanking new Horde multiplayer mode that lets you join forces against waves upon waves of enemies. Get SpongeBob ready as it comes to the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch this 2020. 13. With the rise of the comic book fandom, this is exactly the right time to return to this game's world of conspiracies of lost identities. Starring David Duchovny as the enigmatic Jason Fly, it condenses elements from the 5 volumes of the original comic book series into one complex tale, packed with stealth and violence. At the time of 13's release, it only received mixed to average reviews, with critics praising its story and beautiful cel-shaded presentation, while criticizing its gameplay and its enjoyable but unbalanced shooting mechanics. Flaws notwithstanding, 13 left a strong enough impression to become a cult classic. With this remake, it hopes to revitalize the original, bringing it to modern audiences, hopefully without all its technical shortcomings. Delayed to sometime this 2020, it's coming out on the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.